Hello, everyone, and welcome to a Friday edition of the podcast. This is Heather Doran. I am guest hosting today while Melissa is out on vacation. And today I want to talk to you guys about belief and what it is that you believe in. So before I get started, I want to just quickly apologize for any weird background noise or fuzziness or whatever. I am actually driving in the car, so there might be a slight, background noise. Hopefully that doesn't bother you too much. So I find that I do best just kind of free flow when I'm driving a lot of times, because when you're driving, you just kind of have all these ideas and things you want to say, and you just end up talking to yourself. So I figure instead of talking to myself today, I'm actually going to talk to you, and I'm going to record this podcast episode. So today I'm going to talk about belief. So I actually started recording this podcast yesterday, and then I recorded it this morning, and I just felt like it wasn't it wasn't clear enough. I don't know, whatever. So I ended up doing it again. So we're on take 3. Hopefully you find this helpful today. So the reason why I ended up thinking about belief is because your beliefs have a lot to do, pretty much everything, in my opinion, to do with what you end up having in your life, what ends up being in your experience. So a lot of times in life, we end up, starting a business, or we end up, going to school or wanting a job or whatever it is that we want in our life, or wanting a house or whatever. And underneath all of this thing that we want, we don't actually believe that it's for us. We don't actually believe that we deserve it, or that it's possible, or that that's an achievable goal, or whatever it is. We don't actually believe it underneath. And so because you don't believe it, you can't fully be aligned with it, with this thing that you want. And so you don't ever end up having it. You don't ever fully have what you really want. You don't ever fully achieve your goal, if you really even achieve a piece of it. So there's always this underlying thing that ends up happening because you don't fully believe it. And so what got me thinking about all of this had to do with church. So I grew up in church. I grew up in a very religious home. And later on in my life, because I had so many questions about these beliefs that my church, my family, wanted me to believe in. Oh, if you just do this, or this is the truth, this things in the Bible and all that stuff. And so instead of me being able to grow my own natural belief around these different stories or these different things about what I was going to believe in, I was just it was just forced on me. It was a perceived truth, in my opinion. So when I got older, I pretty much just decided that church was not for me, and I just didn't really think there was a God, or I don't really call this one spiritual entity, or whatever you might call it, God. That's not really what resonates with me. Although I do think that God is, if what you resonate with as God is probably the same thing that I call a higher power, or a higher being, or the universe, or whatever. I don't necessarily resonate with the word God, because I have a lot of past programming that shoved all that down my throat, that I was going to be forced to believe in all this stuff that God did. And so I don't resonate with the term God. Although I do believe that, my understanding of the universe is probably the same thing that you would call God. But it's all just, in my opinion, preference. So anyway, I started thinking about what sets me apart now in my belief and my understanding of religion, of the universe, of manifesting, of magic, of all this stuff. Like, what is the difference now versus what I used to think or what I was raised to believe in the church and God and all of that stuff. So what's the difference? And so what I thought through in my mind is what makes people have these like miracles in their life is very similar to the process we go through when we're manifesting. So a person that has it on their heart that they believe that this thing is for them, they have a very similar process that they where they will pray and they believe in God and they do all these things that is looking to God. Just like I will do things that are very indicative of believing and looking to the universe. So for example, a person that really believes and really has a deep desire to own a home. Now, this is something that a lot of people do struggle with in life. Owning a home is not something that everybody can achieve because of, having certain credit, having a large down payment, the right house, the right environment, the right whatever. And so owning a home is something that is not, it's hard for some people to get and to be able to achieve. And it's like a long-standing dream for a lot of people is to be able to own a home. And so I was thinking about the process that a person who goes to church might go through. So as I was growing up, a person who believed like, hey, I'm meant to own a home, I am meant to be a homeowner, would feel this. They would feel like, hey, listen, like God has put it in my heart. God has put this in my path. And I believe that I am meant to be a homeowner. And if I am meant to be a homeowner, then God is going to provide this for me. God is going to make a way for me, which is very similar to my belief now and my practice of like manifesting, that I have to believe in my soul, in my heart, that I am meant to have a 6-7 figure business. I have to believe that before it can show up, before the house can show up, before the 6-7 figure business can show up, before all of that can show up, I have to believe it in my heart. People would pray to God. I mean, the next step is, pray. Like I would meditate, or I would journal, or I would clear out these thoughts around not believing that it's for me to have this home, to have this successful business, or whatever it is. And so once we step into this place of belief, what ends up happening is that's when the magic ends up happening. I didn't really see it for what it was until now that I'm an adult and I can see a different perspective, because I don't have the jaded opinion of what I call God, where I just have different thoughts about God and what that represents to me in my brain. And so once I've been able to step outside of that, then I can see, okay, this is the process. If you want to be able to call something into your life, it absolutely starts with your belief. What the hell is it that you believe? Do you believe that this thing that you want is for you? Once you can step out of the way and you can give yourself permission to believe it, to say, listen, it's been put in my heart to have this job, to have this house, to have 0 credit card debt, to have children, to have whatever. It has been put in my heart by the universe, by God, by whatever, by past lives. It's been put into my heart. Therefore, I believe 110% that this is for me. This is my destiny. I am made to be a homeowner. I am made to be a business owner. I am made to do these things. It has been put in my heart to do this, and therefore I believe without a shadow of a doubt that it is mine, and it is coming to me, and the universe is going to bring it to me. God is going to bring it to me. Higher power is going to bring it to me. It's going to come. It's going to be known on my doorstep. What happens after that is where the magic happens. That is where you start to see alignment, when you are taking aligned and inspired action. So what that means is where, let's say you're looking for a house, you don't have the full down payment right now. You don't have the credit right now. Well, what ends up happening is you're at lunch one day and somebody overhears your conversation and says, oh, wow, well, so my mom is looking to sell her house, but she can't afford to move, or we have to place her in a nursing home, or whatever the situation is. And so therefore, we're just looking for somebody to take over the payments of this house. And then once you've established your credit after a year, then you can, buy the house through the bank or whatever. I've seen it happen. Or you might be searching online and somebody is doing a low down payment loan, some bank, it's some random program that you just come to run across, some low down payment. You run into your mother's brother's sister's cousin one day and they're like, oh yeah, I just got my license to become a realtor and I know so-and-so banker and blah, 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 blah. This right here is where the magic can step in and happen. This is where aligned and inspired action starts happening. You might be driving one day and you get this instant, this like thought that comes into your mind about, oh, I should look at da-da-da website. And you get out of the car and you go to the website and it has this offer, like just, once in a lifetime, like literally, like just out of nowhere. Or you get an idea to stop at, the gas station at lunchtime or on your way home. And all of a sudden you just happen to run in to somebody and they have a contact for a person or whatever. This right here, my friends, is where the magic happens. But it all starts with your belief. If you don't fully believe that this thing is for you, that you are meant to have this thing, that you are meant to be a mother, that you are meant to be a homeowner, that you are meant to be a business owner, that you are meant to get the hell out of this credit card situation, like you are meant to have these things in your life, if you don't 110% believe this and then take aligned and inspired action towards that, it's not going to happen for you. The chances are very, very slim that it will happen for you. And so I felt very inspired today to talk to you about this area of belief. Belief is where it all starts. And, if you're like me and you grew up in church and I just remember like seeing these things happen and I was like, this is just, it wasn't for me. I was forced to have beliefs and question things that I could never find answers to. Now that I'm older and I have another perspective of it, I see things much differently. I do think that there is some type of something, some type of universal cosmic force that has allowed things to just fall into place. I've seen it time and time again. And, whether you call that magical force God or spirit or universe or whatever it is you call it, I believe there is something out there that exists. And so I choose to believe that this is for me. And once I can get out of my own way and know without a shadow of a doubt that it is coming and it is happening for me, then that is when the magic starts to happen. So I hope that this was helpful, and I hope that I explained it in a way that made sense and I didn't go off on too many tangents. I think I got stuck in a little bit of perfectionism with my last recording, and I decided that that's not really helpful to any of you. If I'm stuck in perfectionism, then you can't hear my message, and that's the same for you. If you are waiting for something to be perfect, you're waiting too long. If you're a business owner, I help a lot of business owners, and if you're waiting for something to be perfect, ladies, you've waited too long. You've waited too long, because perfectionism is just fear, and Melissa talks about it all the time. Perfectionism is just your ego keeping you safe. Your ego telling you, no, let's just wait a little bit longer. It's not time yet. And you can't fully step into your belief if you don't believe that it's perfect enough. If you don't believe it's good enough, you don't believe your message is good enough, you don't believe your craft is good enough, you don't believe you're good enough, you don't believe that the universe is good enough, you don't believe that anything is good, you get stuck in that loop of perfectionism. You can't believe. You can't have a deep belief in yourself. You can't have a deep belief in the process, and it won't happen for you. And so what I want to encourage you to do is to start to let go of all of these things that are causing you to not sit in the place that you know that it's for you. You know that this has been placed on your heart for a reason. You know that this is for you. And because you know that this is for you, you know that a way will light for you. You know that a flashlight, you know that something is coming along the way, that you're gonna be able to see how you're gonna make this thing happen for you, how this is gonna show up for you. So I hope this was helpful. I also want to invite you to the Facebook group that Melissa and I have created. It's called Manifest Your Best Life. It did come out of the free training that we did, but we decided to leave the group open because that group has become just a very beautiful space where you can come and just share your experience with others, ask questions, reach out, let us know, if you're struggling with something, if you just don't really know. I know for some of you, for myself included, this whole spiritual journey of figuring things out is new. It's a newer process. And for some of us, it's kind of like coming out of the closet because, we've been forced to believe that, church and God is the only way that you can show that, spirituality. That's the only way that spirit can show up is through God or through this one source or this one power. And so as I have stepped out and I've said, well, no, I actually believe this, that has potentially create some issues within my family circle or within my friends or with whatever. And so inside this group, we're able to be with each other on this journey and not be judged around whatever it is you're going through. Because, likely if you're going through it, somebody else is going through it too. And sometimes just knowing that you're not on your own island can be so helpful. Knowing that you are not stuck out there in the middle of that island by yourself you're not going through this alone. Chances are other people are going through this very same exact thing as you. And sometimes just knowing that, like, hey, I'm struggling with that too, can be so helpful. That, like, I'm not a weirdo. I'm not this crazy, insane person because I'm struggling with this thing. Chances are other people are struggling with it too, and sometimes it's just really helpful. And to be able to just get encouraging words from each other. And that is the community that we have started to create in this Facebook group. And so I would love for you to join us. I would love for you to see us. I'll put the link in the show notes. Also, Friday, today, at the time of the recording, I am going to be doing a live at noon Eastern, so 12 noon Eastern. I do a card reading for the group, and then I do pull individual cards and do coaching around money and finances. So if you have a question around money and finances, or if you would just like for me to pull a card for you, that will be on Fridays at noon in the Facebook group. So I hope this was helpful, and I hope that you are able to join us in the group and you're able to join us on the live, and I will talk to you on Monday.